Hello, all my crafty people out there. It is time for our weekly project, and I think this one, fingers crossed, will be a pretty simple one. If you have not been here before, my name is Stephanie, and I upcycle clothing. Generally, items I thrift from my local stores, Goodwill, American Thrift, that kind of thing. And this week, I have been cleaning out a sewing room. So I have found things that I completely forgot I had, and I know nobody else has that problem. So I found these. They are a pair of linen pants. They're very beachy, obviously. And this is where they would come up to me if the hem hit the floor. So I got a little fabric here. I think we're going to try and cut these up and make something a little bit more wearable for me during the summer. So if you want to follow along, by all means do like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll catch y'all at the table. Okay, everyone, these are the pants I showed you in the beginning. They are an extra large, just like a generic size. The brand is Venus. They're 100% linen, and it says to wash and warm and not tumble dry. So it didn't dry these. I just let them hang. I was originally thinking about making a blouse, but this is pretty stout linen, so I think it'll still be better as a bottom half of the wardrobe. So pants, skirt. I want to make a skirt out of them because it's very long. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of follow our procedure, or at least to begin with, that we used when we were making the skirt out of the pair of jeans, the one with the insert in the middle. We're going to first open up this inseam all the way from one hem to the other. And then we'll work on how we're going to sew it up. I just want to make it an elastic top. I don't want anything fancy. I am debating on whether or not to leave the sides open. We'll see how that goes. First thing I have to do, though, is I have to take this hem out, and I'm going to try and preserve the hem so I can re-hem it where it need be. So I'm just going to take it out over the seam for right now and see if that'll work to get it open without having to take it completely out all the way around. Okay, I have got the inseam completely taken out, and I have got the pieces folded together, matching up the side seams. So this is what it would look like, kind of deconstructed, I guess you'd say. There's the back. This is the back crotch line, which is always larger than the front crotch line, or usually at least. And this is the front one. And the first thing we're going to have to do is even up these pieces. So I've clipped the bottom just to keep the hemline together. Thought that would be the best way to keep them lined up. And I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm just going to trim off essentially the crotch line. I'm just trying to make it as even as possible. I don't want to lose a lot of fabric. So we'll try this first, and then of course we can always take off more. You just can't add back very easily. So that looks a lot straighter there. All right, that's our one side. And then we're going to do the same thing to this side. Let me see if I can cut from this angle. We will see. That way y'all can see it easier. I just want to make sure that this is lined up. We don't have any extra right there. I want it as even as possible. And I did press these a little bit just to try and prevent any kind of skewing. And then we're going to take our ruler again. This one's going to have a little more to even up. We're going to take as little as we possibly can. Like about there. Okay. Whoops. Come on. There we go. All right. Now we have a skirt that we can sew up the sides. Now I know I didn't take all the way up. What I was thinking about doing is serging each side here up to this point. That way we might have an easier time closing it up, but we'll see. Okay, made the decision and I tested it on this side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to serge from one hem all the way up to this V and back down to this hem. And the reason I'm doing that is, I'm going to show y'all on this side. What I want to do is I want to close up. I'll use the regular sewing machine to close up all the way down to where I want the split to be in the skirt. I'm going to leave a split on each side. And that will give me the ability to just turn that serge line under and make a hem around the split. So there's a plan here. I'm just going to have to run a seam as far down as I want the hem. I mean the side before I hit the split. I'm going to go kind of gauge that, try it on and figure out, because I won't need all of this top for my waistline. It's too much. So first, running to the serger again, going all the way down to the split and down to the other end of the hem to make that, to cover up that seam. So when I turn it, it won't fray. Okay, I have serged down both of, or up and down, I guess, both the sides, from one hem all the way to where we cut it back down. So I have a serge line to keep it from fraying. I have pinned the hem lines together, and I've decided how far up I want the split. So this is about 21 inches, pretty much right at my knee, or right above my knee. So it'll be nice and comfortable to wear all the time. Hold on, my VR reminder. So now I've marked both sides with this 21 inches. I am going to start here at this pin, and I'm going to sew up the side. Whoop, whoop. That's, sorry, that's part of the tie. Get out of there. I'm going to sew from this 21 inch mark all the way up here where the original seam still is, and I'm going to go over that pretty good to make sure that that's secure. So here to here, and then whatever hem or seam line I use will determine my hem line for this V. So I'm probably just going to use probably a 1/2 inch, maybe. Yeah, no, a 1/2 inch should do fine. That'll more than encase the serge line when I turn it. So again, I'm just running from that stopping point where we cut the crotch line out, and I'm going to run to the stopping point where we are going to leave a split in the skirt. Okay, we have sewn up the side. In other words, where we stopped at our crotch line, we just continued that seam and we sewed down to where I want the split to start. And this is plenty enough fabric to make our waistline and whatever we need for the top of the skirt. And then there's a 21 inch split on each side. And since we were able to serge around, you could have done that with a zigzag stitch or just done a small hem. But since I did it that way, then when I press open this seam, I will just continue that pressing down this side of the split to turn that seam under for the split. Then I'll go back and top stitch, well, not top stitch, but stitch over, probably about 1/4 inch over that line for our split to secure it. And of course I'll do some extra stitching right there where it meets and there's that V. So that is what we're doing next. And then the last thing we have to do is determine the length. Now I have determined that I want from the hemline to the top of the skirt, I want 36 inches. And I'm going to use this 1.25" elastic. It's sports elastic, but it's super soft. So this is what we're going to do a casing for. And I am going to do a casing. So I've got plenty of fabric up here to do that and then probably cut some off. Okay, we are down to the elastic waistband. This was a very quick project. I hope y'all try it. And there's all kinds of these linen pants and straight leg pants you can find at thrift stores. I know I find them all the time. So I have measured it out. Again, I need 36 inches from the hemline to the waistline for my tall body. And I have put this tab right at the 36-inch mark. Now, of course, we have to accommodate this 1.25 inch elastic. So we need to make a casing that'll fold over it. So I thought what we would do, put it out a little centered there so you can see it, is we would just cut 2 inches beyond that mark. Sorry, the air conditioner just came on because it'd be hot down here already. Of course. So I'm actually going to have to move that clip, but the 30 mark is where I'm going on the board, so at least I know. So let's move that clip. Let's go to the 30-inch mark. That's going to be 2 inches above. Now this is a straight cut. There are tons of ways you could pull it out. I've got it folded. I wanted to make as an efficient cut as possible. Now I may have to straighten this out a bit, but that's why I'm giving myself the 2 inches. So I have plenty of room to make any kind of corrections. But that's a pretty straight cut. And of course, it went through my tag, but no worries. Don't worry about that. I'm just going to cut it off anyway. We'll worry about that later. I might tack it. Oh, it's going to be tacked down actually when I turn under. So it's going to be in my, so let me go ahead and cut it really close. Because it's going to be in the casing for our elastic. So I'm going to go serge around the edge just to finish it for myself. If you don't have to, if you want to, you can turn it under 1/4 inch and then turn it under completely for your hem, your casing. I'm just going to do the serging because I just like it. I'm telling you, I can't recommend a serger enough. So let me go serge around the edge. Sew 2 inches down. Leave us a little hole for our elastic. And we're going to put in our waistband. Okay, we have our casing here, and I left the hole in the one of the seams, just the way I like to do it. So I have this nice soft sports elastic. That's what it says. It's 1 1/4. So we're gonna take and put our specialist tool on it. Good old safety pin. And we're gonna run it through and see where we land. I'll try it on as I run it through just to make sure I've got enough in there. And it's not too tight, not too loose. And then I think what I'm going to try and do is run a seam over the top of it to just kind of keep it in place. I don't know that this would roll because I've got a fairly tight casing around it, but I just want to make sure that it stays in place. So let me go run the rest of this elastic, and then we'll run that seam and try it on. All right, all my crafty friends. I have to admit I'm pretty jazzed about the way this turned out. It's very flowy, and now of course that's partly due to the fabric it's made out of. And the split on the side makes it super comfy, along with the elastic waistband. So I think you could take this on one afternoon, 30 minutes. I'm telling you. Open up the inseam, even up the crotch lines, sew down the sides, tuck in that little hem for your split, and put in an elastic waistband. This is great for summer, and I am wearing it to work tomorrow. So, if you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side of our next project.